up Tzu Chi volunteers in the Philippines hold a dental-free clinic in both Palo and Ormoc. And we see how much damage the Nepal earthquake caused on the UNESCO list of historic sites. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Mary Lee. Thank you for joining us. In the Philippines, Tzu Chi recently held dental-free clinics for victims of Typhoon Haiyan in both Ormoc and Palo. Dentists served not only the residents of the prefab units, but also opened up the service to neighbors in need of some assistance. In front of Tzu Chi's prefab unit, a long line has formed. These residents are waiting for their turn at Tzu Chi's dental-free clinic in Ormoc of the Philippines.
I can smile now. I was worried about my cavity, but the dentist treated it.
Many of the patients here have cavities because in the Philippines, getting a cavity filled can cost up to a day's worth of pay. Without insurance, residents neglect to pay regular visits to dentists. In the end, the only treatment option for a cavity is tooth removal.
I like to play basketball, and my front teeth were knocked out by my friend's elbow. I came here hoping to get it fixed.
Meanwhile, in Palo, dentists from Manila work hand in hand with local doctors to help residents living in the prefab units with their dental health. They also open up the clinic to nearby neighbors.
I'm one of the victims.
I am a victim of Haiyan as well. I lost my clinic in the typhoon and life became more difficult. Many people said that Tzu Chi can help.
We need to take care of them just like we're taking care of our own family. For me, as a dentist, I can look after their dental health.
On the side, as a dentist, what I can do is alaga yung ngipin nila.
Though it's been about a year and a half since the passing of Typhoon Haiyan, Tzu Chi volunteers continue to safeguard the health and well-being of the survivors. On June 2nd, Tzu Chi's disaster relief and medical team in Nepal seized the opportunity to organize a blessing ceremony at the Swayam Bunath tent community. During the ceremony, a group of young Nepalese volunteers put on a flawless sign language performance of the Tzu Chi song, "We Are One Family," and some 400 participants joined hands and hearts in prayer for Nepal.
Swayam Bunath Temple, a religious site for more than 2,500 years, at the foot of the hill, Tzu Chi volunteers and local Nepalese joined hands and hearts in a prayer for peace and harmony.
We have volunteers from Malaysia, Malaysia, Singapore, Taiwan, China, USA.
The blessing ceremony took place in a simple setting and was attended by some 400 residents of the Swayam Bunath tent community. Volunteers broadcast the master's sermon, which was simultaneously translated into Nepalese.
When I heard the master's sermon, I felt a sense of calm.
A group of young Nepalese volunteers put on a sign language performance for which they had been practicing days. On conclusion of the blessing ceremony, Tzu Chi volunteers also gifted residents with a peace charm, forming an everlasting friendship with the people of Nepal.
Thank you so much.
At the Swayam Bunath tent community, a group of youngsters donning Tzu Chi vests gather around the table. What are they doing? It turns out they are translating Tzu Chi's sign language song, "We Are One Family," into Nepalese in preparation for the blessing ceremony.
Why do you want to learn the song?
Because I feel very happy to learn this song and to sing this song.
I like this song because it inspired me.
Just before they were about to go on stage, the youngsters rehearse as a group one last time.
Ready now?
Yes, we are ready.
How about you?
Me too, ready.
Having learned the sign language just 4 days ago, soon they will be showcasing what they have learned.
I'm their captain, so the volunteers first taught me the song and then I taught them. We learned it 4 days ago.
你现在紧不紧张要上台了？
We
are one family means we are all people of this planet, and this world is a global village.
觉得你们刚刚表现的怎么样？
What do you feel right now? You just feel happy, right?
Yeah,
So what do you feel?
I feel happy, very, very much happy.
Bridging the distance with music and dance, these youths at the Swayambuneth tent community have truly experienced that love is boundless.
32-year-old Chandashori was found by rescue workers 4 days after the massive earthquake that hit Nepal. During one of their periodic checkups, Tzu Chi volunteers found that Chandashori has slipped into a coma as a result of untreated bed sores. Volunteers quickly rushed her to a nearby hospital, where she is now getting the care she needs.
32-year-old Chandasori Ganju lies on death's door. Suffering from cerebral edema since young, Chandasori has been bedridden for most of her life. The long stretches in bed have left Chandasori bone-thin and covered in bed sores. During their visits to Masuri tent community, Tzu Chi doctors have been keeping an eye on Chandasori. On their last visit, however, they found that she had slipped into a coma. A local doctor contacted the nearest hospital to get Chandasori admitted for emergency treatment.
But we can try, but we can promise you. She has 3 wounds, both trochanteric and one in the back in the sacral region. So, and the wound is not clean, it's very infected. So we have to do daily dressing. Maybe we have to take her to operation room to do debridement, surgical dressing. And when all the wounds are clean, then we have to do big surgery to cover the defect.
Doctors at the German-funded Sushma Karalam Memorial Hospital, known for its plastic and reconstructive surgery department, will do everything they can to save Chandasori.
This hospital offers free treatment and beds for its patients. As for the cost of the medication, the Tzu Chi Foundation will handle that.
We thought she wouldn't be able to pull through this. It is truly a miracle.
When we saw her smiling over here, my heart was very happy.
Tzu Chi will cover all costs associated with Chandasori's estimated 3 months hospital stay, which will include 24-hour around-the-clock nursing care. Olaf hopes that she will make it through this critical time and recover completely.
Following the April 25th earthquake, the residents of Laprak village near Gorkha, the epicenter of Nepal's earthquake, have fled to safer regions. In spite of their need for firewood, villagers are unwilling to chop down nearby trees, fearing possible landslides. 2 brothers from Laprak decided to instead seek outside assistance, and Tzu Chi volunteers responded by providing the villagers with 100 boxes of instant rice.
Laprak village, at an altitude of 2,100 meters above sea level, remains at risk of landslides following the massive tremors in April, and thus its 4,000 residents have fled to safer areas. With the monsoon season approaching, however, roads leading to their shelter might become inaccessible.
They're anxious because they only have 2 weeks to gather food and fuel to sustain them through the next month or 2.
As chopping down trees for wood could lead to landslides, 2 brothers went down the mountain to seek help instead. Upon learning of their plight, Tzu Chi volunteers decided to donate instant rice.
Mixed vegetable. We have some others.
Meat item also.
Sorry?
Meat item also?
Yeah.
So one time, at least during lunch time, they are going to farming time. During that, when they will keep this rice. So this is very useful. Yeah. You don't need to cook.
While the brothers marvel at the convenience of the instant rice, keeping hunger at bay during disasters is exactly why it was invented.
To have this instant rice because of the idea of our master Chen Yan, because during there's a disaster and then there's an old lady say that she couldn't cook because she doesn't have fire, and then the rice she unable to eat.
Providing the displaced villagers with much needed food and blankets, Tzu Chi volunteers are helping support these quake survivors through the tough times ahead.
More More than 1 month after a massive earthquake struck Nepal, the local government is still conducting surveys on the damage to World Heritage Sites classified by UNESCO. However, restoring these historic sites is not the only issue of concern for the government, as tourism, a main source of income for the Nepalese, has also taken a hit. I am standing in Bhaktapur's Dubar Square. This is a World Heritage Site recognized by the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. Before the earthquake, the country attracted over 1 million international tourists per year. But in the aftermath of the earthquake, these numbers have dropped significantly. These temples and buildings represent the over 300 years of rich history of Nepal's monarchy. Normally, tourists start arriving at 8 in the morning. However, now it's pretty empty.
So this is our place, it's all empty.
All empty.
Yeah. So we are looking for that. We had lots of Chinese tourists in our countries, and as after the earthquake, even the Chinese tourism, we are also having very less.
Staff of this restaurant wait patiently for customers to arrive. The souvenir shop closed its doors, and even drivers are suffering from lack of work.
Absolutely, we don't have no income because of the tourism.
Hotels in Kathmandu have also experienced a lack of guests. Before the earthquake, 75% of the rooms in this 5-star hotel were booked. But in the aftermath of the tragedy, it is estimated that only 15% of the rooms will be filled in July.
They are also forecasting that business will drop by at least 35%. It will last for minimum 4 months.
Those who depend on tourism for income look forward to tourists returning to Nepal once more. The sign on this wall means this is a World Heritage Site. Actually, this entire area is on the World Heritage List. In Nepal, there are 2 main regions recognized by UNESCO. One is the birthplace of the Buddha, Lumbini. The other is Kathmandu Valley. The stupta behind me is one of the oldest worshipping grounds in the area, but it was severely damaged in the earthquake. For local residents, stuptas aren't only historical artifacts, but for this owner of a jewelry store next to the stupta, it's a living memory.
This stupa is very old. My grandfather's name is engraved there.
In this World Heritage Site, residents live in homes that are full of history.
Along the road, this private house also lies in World Heritage. That's why the private houses, they should follow the rules of World Heritage and they have to build in traditional way.
These cultural sites are also local residents' spiritual sustenance.
This place is very important to us. We come here to worship each day.
Despite seeing damaged buildings on every corner, architects say the country has the expertise to restore these historic sites.
Depending upon the period, and also it is depending upon the availability of the materials in the market.
Currently, experts are still surveying the damage before reporting to UNESCO. Perhaps it will be a long while before these World Heritage Sites are restored to their former glory. Since the first team set foot in Nepal in the aftermath of the April earthquake, Tzu Chi's disaster relief and medical team have continued to extend their assistance to quake survivors to bring a sense of normalcy back to their lives. In our next report, we meet some of the volunteers and see how they managed to make the most of their mission despite a lack of resources and very difficult surroundings.
When you are in a foreign country, it's important to know the lay of the land and get a full grasp of the situation in the shortest amount of time possible. So in times like these, 2 heads are better than 1.
I've been thinking about this a lot. If we only had a map to tell us where we are, remind us of why we are here and what we should be doing.
We got our hands on some basic maps, and then we interviewed some of the brothers and sisters that have visited other areas. Then we asked some of our Nepalese volunteers to jot down these places on the map.
Meticulously and with great precision, the 3 volunteers mapped out the footsteps of Tzu Chi volunteers' journey in Nepal.
Okay, all right. So
The teamwork of this trio can be seen at the Maheswari tent community. As some of the tents were showing signs of wear and tear due to exposure to sun, rain and wind, the three came up with a solution.
We don't have any fishing lines or needles, so we use the nylon thread and the hair clip as the needle.
Always ready to step in wherever needed, Tzu Chi volunteer Tsai Ming Hong is the admin coordinator and also a kitchen volunteer when need be.
Although I am the admin coordinator, I also have to be on standby, ready to fill in when my help is needed.
Since first setting foot in Nepal with Tzu Chi's disaster relief and medical team, media volunteers have been working tirelessly behind the scenes, documenting Tzu Chi's efforts for the world to see.
I love Tzu Chi. It helped us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tzu Chi, and we love all of you. Master Chengen, namaste, and I love you so much.
Master Chengen wo I need.
Agradami Rashtra Hamra Jaya Jaya Nepal. Love you all.
After schools officially reopened in Nepal, most of the 650 students of the Sri Mangal Dvip boarding school resumed their classes in large tents provided by Tzu Chi volunteers. As these children started studying again, they also received some surprising back-to-school gifts.
Erected in the middle of the campus, the 6 large tents given to the school by Tzu Chi volunteers are now serving as temporary classrooms.
I'm very happy that we have got a roof on our head.
Each tent is partitioned into 4 classrooms, where the students study, play, and even sleep.
And now we are in tent. I would like to thank you all because you all gave us this tent, and we are safe here and we can run our study well here.
Tzu Chi volunteers also install solar panels in the restrooms, so lighting is available during the nights. They also gave the students pencils provided by DaAi TV's news department in Taiwan.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
You've got some young volunteers, Nepali volunteers.
Yes.
I will go and tell them thank you too.
Okay, thank you.
Because young people in Nepal.
Having assisted the school in resuming classes, Tzu Chi volunteers will continue to accompany and care for the students.
Mother Nature is beautiful but also deserves respect. When people become too arrogant and believe they can conquer nature, that is when disasters typically strike. As pointed out by the volunteer mountain rescue team in Liugui, Kaohsiung, people need to be humble, respectful, and prepared when they go hiking, no matter how fit or experienced they are.
The plea of a heartbroken mother of a misfortunate hiker is shared by all mothers. According to statistics, of the 185 accidents that occurred in Taiwan's mountains in 2013, hikers who became lost and could not find their way back accounts for more than 60% of the cases.
Before adjustments were made to the regulations, hikers could only go into the mountains in groups of at least 3, and the guide was required. However, without such regulation, now a hiker can hike alone, which is just not very safe and goes against what is being taught in mountain education.
Currently, anyone can challenge any of Taiwan's mountains as long as they submit an application. The chairman of the Flying Eagle Civil Rescue Team, who has been saving lives for 17 years, says most of mishaps in mountains occur because of carelessness and overconfidence.
People should learn to respect the mountains. All hikers should have the same attitude regardless of how fit they are and how experienced they are. Also, you must plan thoroughly for each trip.
If hikers find themselves lost, we are most worried about them panicking, because once they do, they might run around insensibly, and then it will be difficult for us to track them down.
To help people learn to respect the mountains, the Flying Eagle team frequently holds rappelling lessons and shares their heroic rescues. Though what they do is volunteer work, every one of them is proud to be saving lives in treacherous mountains.
When I successfully locate and rescue a missing person, the gratification from saving a life, the joy of that, is simply unexplainable.
Currently, firefighters are who people call when something happens in the mountains. However, most firefighters are not trained to deal with such scenarios, which is why most mountain rescues in Taiwan end in tragedy.
Currently, the fire department already has too much on its plate. It has to cover way too many different fields. If the government can establish an agency that is dedicated to mountain rescue, I think that would be the proper direction to go. After all, that's what other countries are doing.
A lot of time, hikers are way too confident about their own fitness level. A simple tree climbing exercise can reveal the truth, as demonstrated by a DaAi reporter.
It seemed really easy when others were doing it, but after having taken on the challenge personally, I find myself completely out of breath just climbing for about one story. So for those who wish to hike, my suggestion is make sure you are fit in order to stay safe. The Syrian civil war has been ongoing for more than 4 years, and thus millions of displaced Syrian refugees still cannot go home. In Ramtha, Jordan, Tzu Chi has taken 50 refugee families under its wing and visits them on a monthly basis to provide supplies and subsidies. On the volunteers' most recent visit, they enlisted the help of 6 local dentists to provide the refugees with free dental care.
Handing over supplies and subsidies, Tzu Chi volunteers from Jordan's capital of Amman have been visiting Syrian refugees in the border town of Ramtha on a monthly basis since 2012. On their most recent visit, Tzu Chi volunteers also brought along 6 dentists to check on the refugees' oral hygiene. With just several portable dental chairs and simple lamps, the dentists get to work. Though the environment is less than ideal, their passion to serve remains unwavering.
Thank you, brothers and sisters of the Tzu Chi Foundation, for your assistance so that I may see again. And now, thanks to your free dental clinic, we can smile happily once more.
Currently, 50 Syrian refugees are under Tzu Chi's care in Ramtha. The 2 sides have bonded like family over the years, and volunteers will continue to lend their assistance until the refugees' ordeal is over.
At the end of the show, we introduce you to a band called Kiwi from Kaohsiung, Taiwan. These band members don't let their physical disabilities stand in their way of their love for music. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching our program. See you next time.